shortly. We're just, and Commissioner Yang has now officially joined us. Thank you.
Welcome, Commissioner Yang.
Thank you
Welcome.
so much.
All right. Um, so the time is 7:03, and this is the February ANC2A community meeting. Um, we are going to have quorum for the month of March. We have been joined by Commissioner-elects DeCapo and Youngstone. And that is going to segue into introductions. We're going to go ahead and go in numerical order, which means Commissioner-elect DeCapo, you are first.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to join in March as a voting member.
Thank you, Commissioner-elect DeCapo. Commissioner Yang.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is May. I'm a lawyer at Ropes and Gray doing cybersecurity and data privacy. Very excited to be serving you, and hopefully I'll get to know everyone.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tripti Patel. I go by she, her pronouns. I represent Single Member District 2A03, which is the historic Foggy Bottom. And glad to be here with you tonight.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ed Comer. I represent 2A04, which is mainly the Watergate, down to the Lincoln Memorial and the Kennedy Center and the very western portion of Foggy Bottom. And glad to be here. And looking forward to when we can have a quorum and a full meeting, but looking forward to hearing from everybody.
All right, I think I am up next. Everyone, my name is Jim Malik. I am the Commissioner for Single Member District 2A08, which borders 20th Street on the east, 8L Street on the north, and H Street on the south, and includes Washington Circle. Really happy to be here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sean. I'm the other new commissioner-elect. Very happy to be here. I represent 2A09, which is the sort of south side of the 2400 block of Pennsylvania, Varsity on K, and then a number of buildings south of there, sort of including both the GW campus and some non-campus housing.
All right, now that we've heard from our colleagues, we're going to go ahead and go into the community forum. And if a member of MPD is here, please raise your hand. We have 2 members of MPD. Welcome, gentlemen. Lieutenant, always good to see you. And
Hello.
I don't know the rank of Mr. Hamlin, so I'll just address him as Mr. until he corrects me and
Oh,
tells me.
he is Captain Hamlin. He replaced now Commander Harris. When she moved on, he took her place at the second district. So if I defer to him, if he wishes to speak or go, it's his call, or I can fill the space either way.
Yeah, so I'll take it, Howden. I appreciate it, sir. So I just want to at least introduce myself. I've met some of you along the way, and I've definitely attended some of the other meetings. So I just want to say hello to you guys real.
Lieutenant Howden, I think we lost Captain Hamlin. Hopefully he returns.
Might just be some connectivity issues.
Absolutely. Well, obviously, if Captain Hamlin returns, we will promote him and we can let him finish
You're
his
saying he
introduction.
completely dropped off. Well, that's a
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll run through the few things that I have. I know don't want to take too long. Welcome, everyone. I I'm glad to hear elections took place and people have been appointed, and that moving forward next month we'll be taking some bigger steps. That's great news. It's great to hear, and I'm sure in time I will get an opportunity to meet with and work with each and every one of you. Before I forget, I have not yet determined exactly where the community walk will be for March in a couple of weeks, a date and a location, but be looking forward to that. It'd be great if it's in an area that is important to you and you are able to make it out and we can visit. So as far as ANC2A goes in the last 30 days, crime on the whole, hold on, it's dark where I'm at and got old glasses on, so let's see. By count, in the last 30 days, things are down by 8, so 30 reported things. We've got 1 sex abuse, 1 ADW, and then about 26 reported thefts, but as we know, that's always going to be the problem. Motor vehicle theft and then theft from auto. As far as those go, the ADW was closed with arrest. That appears to have been something of a random act by a juvenile. Um, eh, Reading into it, it was a little bit concerning, but again, it was closed by an arrest. The sex abuse case was actually an inability to consent case, so not some stranger on stranger thing. The theft from auto, it was a van. The lock was damaged and a bike was taken out of the back. Now, that's a little bit concerning, or the report itself is concerning in that there's video, but security refused to allow MPD to view the video without a warrant. And that was right up there along the corridor near Miriam's kitchen and that whole area. So I'm not sure what was up with it, but that's what it says. The motor vehicle theft was actually a motorcycle, a 2006 Honda CBR 600RR. And while that's not my style of motorcycle, I know those get stolen a lot. They are hard to come by. So let's see here. That's really it as far as crime goes. My little always notes are please remember to use alternate package delivery methods and never have them left on the porch or in a common accessible area. If you're in a building, continue to push and encourage all of your neighbors to never allow folks to piggyback in. Let those access control systems work, and if there's a problem, raise that concern to somebody. Hold on, gotta turn the page. Do not, and this is of course something I've talked about before. Do not leave your valuable bicycle locked to anything. Modern tools, modern power tools can grind off just about any lock in just a couple of seconds. So if it's valuable, take it somewhere. Don't lock it to anything out on the street, or really even in parking garages or bike rooms or things like that. You need to take it and secure it somewhere inside and out of people's view. Same goes with vehicle stuff. Don't leave anything in your vehicle, not even for a moment. Don't leave your purse, your laptop bag, your jacket, some change. None of those things can be left in your vehicle out on the street. I've seen videos where individuals are able to break a window and reach in faster than you can get your keys out and unlock the door. They're incredibly fast and they're hard to catch. Along with that, if you pull up somewhere to park, not just DC, but anywhere, and you see a line of glass along the street or along the curb, don't park there. There's something going on, and those are the remnants. So just be aware and alert to your surroundings. As always, please work together as a community. Again, be aware of your surroundings. If something seems wrong, speak up. Say something about it. It probably is. If you don't have the 311 app on your phone, again, my number is 911, so if you have something going on, call 911. But 311, the app on your phone is really great. You can get it set up. If you see things like signs down, trees in the road, or potholes, or nuisance issues like rats or trash, you can go and take a picture. It'll mark your location, and it's actually really, really convenient to report those ongoing community problems. I know in a previous meeting, I was asked if we had an update on the Char Bar incident there on L Street. I do have an email out to the detective's office to get the most current answer. But what I do have and what I have put together, the case is actually showing inactive from what I can see. Now, the detectives have different access to their files, and I can't see those. So I'm not sure what they may or may not be doing on the back end. Um, something a little related to the window itself, but definitely related to the bigger question. I guess a week or two after that event, I believe the staff there, the owner there, received a note about, or at least talking about some hate bias type speech that was reported. It doesn't immediately link or seem linked to the glass itself, but um, since the main question was how is or is this linked to any sort of hate bias events, they have had those sorts of things there. I just don't know about the glass. And then we've also been asked about the U-turn problem there on Virginia Avenue. I've seen it. I know what you're talking about. I saw the video. Uh, when Park Police does counterflow, people will, through intent or accident, end up on the under the Kennedy Center side there and make a U-turn on Virginia, kind of circumventing the traffic. I didn't see a no U-turn sign anywhere there, and either I missed it because I'm out in the dark or it's just not there. Um, so if it's not there, maybe we can reach out and work with DDOT to try and get a sign put up and go about this some other ways. But that was my first impression of that. I'm not sure if I covered everything, but anyone with any questions, please let me know.
Yes, Lieutenant. Actually, Commissioner Comer has a question, and then Commissioner Malek. And I do see Captain Hamlin has joined us. So after the Q&A portion is done, I'll let Captain Hamlin finish introducing himself. I just wanted to acknowledge that Captain Hamlin was here. Commissioner Comer, please.
Yeah, just a quick question with respect to the Virginia Avenue Rock Creek Parkway intersection. There is not a no U-turn sign, but there is a no left turn sign on the other side of the street.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Interesting.
because it's actually a left turn from the exit off of Rock Creek Parkway.
Right. So
Highway.
now, would that no left turn sign be interpreted as applying to folks coming out of the gas station, or maybe?
You tell me,
Maybe
but
I don't know.
I
I'll have to
suspect
go
it's
look.
interpreted to both because of the way the intersection hits Virginia Avenue virtually at the exit from the gas
Right.
station.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. So, okay, well, I'll keep looking.
Okay, yeah, come back and visit it again when we get more traffic. It's
Sure. Sure. Well, you know.
the real problem is it's dangerous because you have
No,
cars
you're right.
coming all
I've
over.
I've definitely saw it.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
it is not what was intended, I think, by Park Police.
I'm sure it was not what's intended because the Park Police sign says access only to the Watergate and the Kennedy Center.
Right.
It's not intended to allow people to go north on Rock Creek
Right.
Parkway.
No, no, you're right.
No, thank you.
No problem.
Commissioner Malek.
Lieutenant Howden, thank you very much for following up on our previous conversation regarding Charbar.
Yeah, no problem.
Couple of questions on this. So, first of all, has the department seen an uptick in threats or actions against other Jewish-owned businesses in the city?
Honestly, I have not. No, I don't. I'm not a part of or member of the SLU division. I can reach out to Captain Rodriguez, who I know, and he works there in SLU, and they are kind of the, I guess, maybe central repository for those type of reports. And I can reach out to him and see just kind of, what the trend might be. But from where I sit, I have not seen a dramatic uptick.
Okay, so we have had an act of violence committed against this business. Apparently, there has been then a second instance of a threatening letter that was sent to the business.
There was a letter.
So what does the department do in cases like this where there is reasonable reason to believe that a business and its staff could potentially be the target of hate crimes. Do you take any additional precautions or put any additional measures in place to make sure that this business and all the people who work there and all the patrons who go there are protected?
That is that's a lot of question. So SLU works with individuals and businesses anytime they believe they are the target of anything for any sort of hate bias event. And if the business wants or doesn't want, that's often up to them. Now, again, I don't know the background or what's going on with that particular location, but that is a front line of stuff. Anytime something happens, they're going to be notified and oftentimes come out to meet with the people involved. So that is step one. If there is an ongoing threat or intel is aware of anything, we have varying levels of special attention that we can apply and put forth to a particular location. There are many things we can do. As far as this particular location, it is on our radar because it's something that I have to talk about and be have a sticky note on my monitor for this address. So it's I don't know the specific answer to satisfy your question, but
Okay. No, I appreciate the information.
yeah, there are many things we can do.
If there are additional instances of threatening language, of threatening actions that come up pertaining to this location that are matters of public information, please reach out to me and let me know.
Absolutely.
I'd rather hear from you that there was another threatening letter than to come on this monthly call and hear after the fact, weeks
Right.
after the fact, that there was another.
And I'll tell you, I only was aware of this letter doing my research for this call last night.
Okay.
So, whether I should have brought it up or not, I don't know if I violated the location's confidentiality in that maybe they didn't want it to be public. Hopefully that's not the case.
Okay.
But you had specifically asked about the location, and in doing the research for the call, I wanted to make sure that I brought you all the information that I had available to me, and that I saw that it was there, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Okay. Thank you very much for this, and thank you for paying attention to this. It's important that everyone in our community, every business, every patron of every business knows that they are going to be protected and that they feel
Absolutely.
safe going about their lives. I'm
Absolutely.
deeply disturbed by this situation, and I hope that the department is paying attention to it. So with that, I'll
I
yield
am.
to the rest of the commission.
Thanks.
Right. I do have a question, but before I go into my question, Captain Hamlin, did you want to finish introducing yourself? You've got dropped.
Yeah, sorry, you all. I got briefly disconnected. Reconnected as fast as I could. Howden, thank you for just going over crime. So I won't address any of that because he basically mentioned several things that I was going to mention already. So, but yes, I'm Captain Hamlin. I've been a captain for several years now. I just came over here from the Anacostia or 7D side of the district. So I spent a couple years over there. So it's nice to be over here with you all and getting to know all the communities. But I look forward to working with you guys. It's a bit of a change of pace, but we have all the same issues, just maybe not as frequently from where I came from in Anacostia. And just to Jim, just to touch on the safety issue, we can always provide special attention if it's requested. We don't regularly visit locations unless asked to, because some locations don't feel safe with us coming all the time. They don't want that kind of visibility. So if you make a request for us to give a location special attention, we will certainly do that. But I do want to remind you that we are a patrol division, so we respond to all the 911 calls for the city. So we can't sit in any one particular place for too long. We can only spend a brief amount of time there. Now, if if there's an escalation of threats and we become across more viable threats, then we will, increase that coverage. And it would most likely, we would most likely get some resources from like an outside entity of 2D itself. Because again, our officers that are here for patrol. So that's kind of the challenge. So and again, because it's private property, it's hard for us to say, yes, we can be here or no, we can't, and that's kind of the challenge for us, but we will certainly keep an eye on it for you. Howden's been doing a great job with you guys on that. And he'll certainly update you if anything else pops up. But it's a pleasure to meet all of you, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Um, Captain Hamlin, Lieutenant Howden, since you are the units that respond to 911 calls, so in my SMD, there was a 911 call placed on Saturday, February 8th. The 911 call is because the apartment complex, the Claridge House, actually called 911 because there was a fire due to an elevator motor that started smoking up against the belt. I know you weren't the initial first responders that were called for that, but I did see that there were MPD did come on site. Is there any insight or additional information that you can provide about that incident?
No. So in a case like that, where it's like an elevator fire, for example, and I guess you said the belt was malfunctioning, so there was some smoke, maybe a small fire. The fire department will respond to put the fire out, unless there's like significant damage and there's displacements. And what I mean by that is that people are forced to leave their home as a result of the fire. The fire department will investigate it by themselves. If there's a criminal aspect to it, like arson or something like that, or like I said, there's a lot of displacements. We would certainly take a report for it, but still the fire department would investigate the criminal aspect. We would just take an incident report saying that it occurred. In a case like that, we probably wouldn't take a report at all, but we can certainly look into that and figure out if a report was generated or not.
Yeah, that was my question. We just saw that I saw that MPD had come to on site. They didn't stay very long. Obviously, they had seen that fire department was on scene and was handling the situation. But I just didn't know if there was any additional context that MPD had to the situation.
This is Howden. Well, I say everyone. Everyone except the newly elected members have my email address. So please, if you've got these sorts of questions, shoot me an email that day. I'll do my looking into and I'll get back to you. I definitely have conversations all the time through email with members of the community. Mr. Crane, I'm having a back and forth conversation with him right now about some stuff. So it's michael.howden, HOWDEN at dc.gov. That's michael.howden at dc.gov. Please send me your questions and things like that anytime. And I can absolutely get you those answers, not in real time, but, sooner than the monthly meeting.
All right, thank you so much. And Commissioner Malek, I saw your hand was raised. No questions. If there are any questions or comments from members of the public for MPD, please raise your hand and you will be promoted to panelist.
Hi, this is Alexis Squire, Deputy Chief of Staff from Fire and EMS. I don't have anything in direct response to MPD, but I heard the incident and I do have a colleague on that can speak a little bit more about that incident when available, appropriate.
Okay. I'll leave you on as a panelist, Ms. Squire. So,
okay.
Ms. Cooperman.
Hi,
good
evening, everyone. Uh-oh. Are you all able to hear?
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. If you could also promote Battalion Fire Chief Tony White from our Fire Prevention Division, he can also speak to it. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your participation this evening. My name is Alexis Squire. I'm the Deputy Chief of Staff here at Fire and EMS. It's a pleasure to hear from our community members and to see some familiar and new faces. I did want to, Ms. Patel, you mentioned a fire that happened recently and wanted to speak a little bit more about the response. I want to make sure, were you able to promote Chief White?
Chief White has been promoted. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I can answer any after he's complete his notes or his contributions. If there are any other general community questions around fire and EMS and our engagement with your community, please let me know. But I will turn it over to Chief White, who can speak more specifically to the incident.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Chief White, thank you.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
First and foremost, we appreciate you guys inviting us to hang out with you guys for a little while. Speaking about 950 25th Street Northwest. Did my research this evening. DC Fire received the call. We were dispatched at 10:27. Our first due engine company, which is Engine 23, posted themselves en route at 10:28 and arrived on scene at 10:31 per our tracking device or our ESO system. When we arrived on scene, we got reports of fire and smoke in the elevator shaft. Our members found the elevator shaft that was being complained about. We opened it, found no fire, but it was a heavy smell of burning rubber. It was determined that the cause of the odor was like you said, the belt rubbing up against something coming from the engine of the elevator. Our rescue squads came in and shut the elevator down, specifically that elevator. And usually in any situation where our rescue squad shuts the elevator down, it's not turned back on until the apartment complex or the management of that apartment or that dwelling has an engineer come out and service it just to make sure everything is good to go. But we found no fire, no smoke. Like I said, the elevator was shut down, and I think we went back in service at around 10:58 or something like
that. Thank you, Chief White. And the reason, which I'm glad both of you came tonight, and if you could shoot me an email. And the reason why is so our property management has not addressed this incident at all with residents. Residents have been asking every day, and it's been a huge cause of anger and frustration. A lot of people feel that there is a cover up, not by the fire department. Let me make that clear. And there's another issue at play. 911 was contacted. And between 911 and finally connecting to the building and having a fire department come on site, it was 30 minutes. So wow. Someone pulled, and it wasn't, because like the firefighters came on scene were great. They did once they showed up on scene, everything was great, but residents stood outside in the cold for about an hour. And the first half hour, it was because they were waiting for first responders. And so which is not on you, but it a lot of residents are really upset at the lack of response time. And
understood. So if I can ask the question, and I'm pretty familiar with just the way the buildings operate. I know if a smoke alarm or smoke detector or something of that nature went off in the building, and I'm not sure of the size of the building, 950 25th Street, but it will set an alarm out throughout the building, right? Which would then cause residents to leave the building, right? I'm not sure what time 911 was contacted or 311 was contacted. But if we can get those numbers, if the property management could provide us those numbers, we can look into it. But for our dispatch time, it's all tracked through our system, and we were dispatched at 10:27. So I'm not sure if it was a delay in them calling, if they assume, or if the residents assume that by the building alarm going off that 911 was automatically contacted, whether it was a 311 contact or what have you. But if you guys can get us those numbers, it would be greatly appreciated so we can look into it ourselves. But in any situation, what we do when we get on scene, because we do acknowledge specifically in cold weather, we try to do what we have to do as quickly as possible to get everybody back in the building into a warm situation. And if situation goes longer than expected, then we will have warming buses and things of that nature come into the scene to take care of the residents. So, like I said, if you guys can get us those numbers of what time the 911 was contacted, we can look into those things.
I would definitely get that to both you and Deputy Chief Squire. I just don't have your email addresses. So, if you could just email me or our executive director who can get me your information, I will get that to you. I will get you those numbers that you need.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and what do I need to do to get a copy of the fire report?
So I will provide it to Ms. Squire. There's a link that we can send you, and it goes directly to our FOIA folks, and you just request it through them, and they'll have it back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Yep. Colleagues, did anybody have questions for FMES, THEMS? None. Any members of the public have any questions or comments? Ms. Cooperman?
I have a question going back regarding the char bar incident. I know that the incident was on the anniversary of Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, which is a historical night of anti-Semitic attacks on Jewish businesses in the lead up to in the beginning of the Holocaust. And I'm wondering if that's being taken into account in this investigation.
Hey, it's Howden. I'm still on. Again, so I've got a note out to the lieutenant in charge of the detective's office. Detective case notes are off kind of on their own thread, and non-detectives don't have access to it. So I can't tell you what they are or are not looking at. I tried. I don't have access to that. So I can't really answer your question. I'll leave it at that. I can't really answer your question, but I will let everyone know, or Malik know, Commissioner Malik know, if and when I hear back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there are no other, I've dropped both my email and Chief White's email. So if there are any follow-up questions, we can certainly be reached. And if there are no other questions, thank you so much for your partnership.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Chief Squire, and thank you, Chief White.
Thank you.
And as always, appreciate you, Lieutenant Howden, and nice to meet you, Captain Hamlin.
See you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, y'all.
And next up on the agenda is an update from our Aston CAT members. If they are present, please raise your hand.
Hey there, this is Chris. Labus,
Hi,
I
Chris.
am here. And we know Courtney is.
Yes, and Courtney is here. So the floor is
Yeah.
yours.
So Courtney, this time, I'll give you a break this time, Courtney, with things. We had a brief meeting, the brief monthly meeting for the CAT, and it was pretty much all good news. It was very short. The building is operating with a temporary certificate of occupancy due to one electrical panel that is going to be replaced by the end of this month, I believe. And and once that is, and by the way, all the other work is completed. All the other necessary work that had to be done is done. And once that electrical panel is taken care of, the Aston will apply for the permanent certificate of occupancy, which should be no problem getting that. The next item they talked about was there's a milestone that happened. As if folks don't know, what's the way that the people are being admitted into the Aston is in cohorts of 50. So the first 50, and then once the first 50 were admitted, then they would stop or put the program on hold and do an assessment of how things are operating, and then move on by accepting the next group of 50. And that happened. So they're now going to the waiting list and working with those residents to come in. And then finally, well, not finally, but penultimately, there are we brought up questions about donating time and items, and if you wanted to volunteer, that came up. The donations really, if you do want to donate anything to them, what they would really appreciate are like gift bags or personal items like soap or towels and things along those lines. But they did want to make it clear that, yes, they're funded to provide those for the folks that stay there. But if you want to donate them, then please go ahead. And then now, finally, what I wanted to add was there is the website in place for the Aston, and I'll probably put, if I can, put that in the chat, but it's friendshipplace.org/the Aston. And there's a whole bunch of really good stuff on their website. It's a good website. And there's also, if you have any complaints or questions, or if you want to donate something, you can contact them at aston@friendshipplace.org. And I'll put both of those into the chat. And one final thing is that as there are no reports of adverse incidents or anything wrong affecting the community, both inside and outside the Aston, which is really good to hear. So I think we're on the right track to really providing the help that these people need and being a model for the city and the country beyond our city limits. And Courtney, I don't know if you had anything.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. That covered pretty much everything. I would just add on the donations piece. They do want to kind of like, it's helpful for them to have a sense of what's being donated and just to confirm that it's helpful. So the Aston staff encourages emailing them directly at aston@friendshipplace.org just to describe what you want to donate, and then they'll just confirm that that's something that's needed. I think they also mentioned coats as something that's in a lot of demand. So if you have coats to donate, I think those would be especially welcome. And we've talked a little bit about like volunteering, and the CAT is kind of looking to get a better sense of what types of interest people have in volunteering, what you envision that looking like, what you'd want to contribute as a volunteer. So if you have specifics, I encourage you to reach out to me and Chris. You can also share that when we get to the public comment period, and we'll report that back. That's all I have.
Thank you so much, Chris and Courtney. And I see you have a question or a comment from a colleague. Commissioner Millett, go ahead.
Thank you. A line of questions, actually. So Chris and Courtney, you and I have spoken a little bit about this via email prior to this meeting. First, let me just say I served as co-chair of the community advisory team as designated by former chairperson Patel. As we do not have a chairperson currently, I think the assumption is that I am no longer serving in the role of CAT co-chair designee, but I've been very involved with this process since the beginning of the formation of the CAT. And I unfortunately had to miss my first CAT meeting, this most recent CAT meeting that occurred. So I was not there. And apparently at this meeting, it was announced that there would be an open house as required by the Good Neighbor Protocol for community members who were interested to come view the Aston and its operations. Chris and or Courtney, can you talk to us about what the discussion around that open house was? And for the community to understand why I'm asking this question, the CAT was issued no written notice about this open house. There was no email sent out to CAT members. So any CAT members who were not at that Zoom meeting did not know that this open house was happening. Additionally, no notice was given to the ANC about this open house. So we weren't able to reach out to our community partners about it. And based on a little bit of research that I've done so far, no outreach was done by DHS or our government partners to members of the community or to community organizations about this open house. So I am curious what the conversation looked like in that meeting pertaining to this event. And then also if you could tell us, did you go to the event and what was it like? And provide any further context about this. That would be helpful for us.
Yeah, I'd say that I was unable to attend the open house. It seemed to me at that meeting that the open house was only for CAT members. Courtney, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was only for the CAT team.
I think it was open to the broader community, but
Was it?
the discussion of it was pretty limited, and I also would have liked to have further notice so that we could have reported the date at these meetings as we always communicate the relevant information. Yeah, I'm looking in my notes from the call, and all that I noted was that it would be the Thursday evening following that CAT meeting, that would be open to members of the community. It would be about an hour, and that it would be weather permitting. So there was also kind of that, slightly open question of weather. And I, do also apologize for not reporting back those notes to you promptly. I think that would have been an appropriate action on our part. So I'll apologize for that. But also feel similarly that it would have been helpful for all of us to have that in writing and to have a little more notice.
So thank you for that. So just to make this clear for members of the public and for my colleagues. So the first time a concrete date and time for this open house, which is required by the Good Neighbor Protocol that we spent months negotiating, the first time that was locked down was February 10th for an event that happened 3 days later, for which no notice was sent to the ANC or community stakeholders. In my mind, that may qualify as meeting the letter of the agreement because an open house was held, but it does not in any way satisfy the spirit of the agreement, which was that the community at large would have an opportunity to come and visit the facility. So I just want to say that then this is not directed at you, Chris and Courtney, because I think you both have done an excellent job serving in this role. Overall, I'm disappointed with our government partners for how they handled this, and I've expressed this to them. I don't know what the next steps are going to be. I don't know if it makes sense to try to do another open house with broader notice. Obviously, there are some limitations to how many people we can bring into a facility that's actually operating and taking care of people. So that certainly has to be considered because we want this to be a dignified experience for the people who are living there. That said, this idea of an open house is something that has come up in CAT meetings over and over and over again. We've been talking about it for months, and I was absolutely flabbergasted to find out like 20 minutes before the event that it was happening. I thought it was totally unacceptable the way that transpired. So, I appreciate you reporting back on it. I want the community to know that I am having conversations with our partners at DHS about this, trying to figure out the best way to move forward. In part because it's important to meet the spirit of the agreement, but also because, as I've been saying since the beginning of this process, a facility like this, a project like this only works if the community trusts its government and the people who are working on the project to be honest and forthright with them all the time. So that's what I'm going to try to make sure happens here. I apologize to the members of the community that an event happened and we didn't issue notice about it. I didn't know about it, or I would have made sure you did too. So that's all I have to say about that. I'll yield back to my colleagues.
Commissioner Comer, you're recognized.
Yeah, if
Thank you. May I just suggest, I know we can't take a formal vote, but I would suggest that certainly those of us who are on the ANC, I hope we would all agree to ask the CAT to organize another open house with adequate notice so that we can inform the community and authorize Jim to say we all agree that this needs to be done in a right way for community involvement and also in a way that doesn't unduly disturb the people who live there. But I don't consider a open house that really nobody was aware of to be in the spirit of the agreement that they're supposed to comply with. So I still think they have an obligation to do it. And I certainly would encourage you, Jim, to let them know that we would still like to have a valid open house with, options.
Right.
We can't undo the past, but we can try when the weather is warmer to do something that gets community involvement.
I'd be interested in, thank you, Ed. Or Commissioner Comer. I would be interested in hearing from the rest of the commission, their thoughts on that. I agree with you, Commissioner, and I'm certainly happy to make that ask.
Thank you.
Before I pivot to other commissioners, Commissioner-elect DeCapo, I'll recognize you next, but appointee Labus, I think wants to offer a comment. So, Mr. Labus, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with Commissioner Comer and Commissioner Malik that we do need to go back to them and say we need to have an open house again with proper notice well enough in advance. And so I will, Jim, also talk to the folks there, Sakina and the rest of the team at Friendship Place, find out some dates, well enough in advance, and then let the folk know. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Chris. Commissioner-elect DeCapo, you're recognized.
Yes, I just wanted to also express that I would really enjoy to see another community open house. I attended that open house. What was it, last week or the week before? I can't exactly remember. But I thought the team there did an excellent job at making it, showing off their best, putting their best foot forward. I'd like to see them do it again. I'd like to see more people there. There were just me, Commissioner-elect Youngstone, a couple of people from the GW Hatchet, and two community members, and then numerous police officers who were in the community. But it would have been nicer to see more people, just regular, community members, especially from the area, come and see the great things that they've done at the Aston.
Commissioner-elect Youngstone, did you want to chime in or add on to any additional comments since you were there as well?
I mean, I co-sign the way he described it. I thought it was sort of a really well done and sort of professional presentation. And yeah, I think any community members who are invited to a sort of follow-up open house would sort of, I think, enjoy the experience and also find it sort of good and informative.
Thank you for your comments. I I think in our government partners' haste to try to meet an agreement tied to a deadline, which, in hindsight was probably a little bit impractical. I mean, I think the only way members of the public knew about this open house is if you were at that meeting. And, I mean, I know when I went to this meeting, I certainly wasn't expecting to hear like, we're having an open house. It's, it's today's Monday, it's happening on Thursday. I'm like, oh, this is really quick notice. And I I just want to be mindful of like, I don't think there was any ill will or deliberate intention to misrepresent the spirit of what they were trying to do. But I do want to attach myself to the consensus that I think it is really important that there be another open house conducted with proper notice and with proper outreach to all the community stakeholders so that they actually meet the premise of why the open house was supposed to be there. And Commissioner Malek, I'm going to recognize you.
Thank you, and I'll keep this brief. I agree. I don't think there was any ill will. I have full faith that our partners at DHS want to do a good job and want this facility and this project to be successful. They are deeply invested in that. At the same time, there have been multiple instances since this project was announced where communication from the government to the public has been sorely lacking. We have raised this issue in numerous ANC meetings. People need to be accountable to what they promise, and they need to hold themselves to high standards so that the community has faith in what the government is telling them. So I don't think there was any ill will, but I do think there needs to be a higher benchmark for the way some of our partners operate when it comes to this type of engagement. So I am communicating that to them. Totally agree. Everyone wants this to be successful, but this kind of communication is really, really critical. And it certainly looks like when you plan an event, don't tell the co-chair of the entity that you're even planning the event, announce the event, and then hold it 3 days later with no notice. That does not look like you are committed to transparency. Even if you are, it's not what it looks like. So we need to correct that. And that's all I'll say there.
No, thank you for your comments. So, think it's fitting that I end this topic with that. DGS is having their performance oversight hearing this coming Friday. Members of the public are still able to sign up. Registration is going to close probably by tomorrow night by 5 p.m. And then DHS is having their performance oversight hearing on March 3rd. I have signed up to testify, but these are the issues that need to be said in a performance oversight hearing. I have been on record since last year stating that ANC2A has not been satisfied with the level of communication and the level of engagement that, for a project of this magnitude, like the lack of information makes it appear that they don't want to be, you know, having the community help shape the entity that is the asset that is going to be a permanent fixture in our neighborhood. And so I have been beating that drum, and obviously when I testify on Friday, I will also flag that in that hearing as well as DHS's hearing. But I just wanted to make sure colleagues on here knew about that. I I already know like our appointees, Mr. Labus and Ms. Cooperman, do a fantastic job. If they are able to testify at either one of these hearings, great, or at least submit written comments for the record. At a minimum, it would be greatly appreciated, but of course not required. But since both of you are on the CAT, I think the members of the council would appreciate having your written comments for the record, as well as testifying before would be great if possible.
Yeah, thanks for putting that on my radar. I wasn't aware of those specific dates. So is it DGS is this Friday and then DHS is March 3rd?
That is correct.
Okay, great. I will look into submitting something. Thank you.
Thank you. And moving right along, the next item on our agenda is a report from our Ward 2 council member's office. Anybody who's here from the councilwoman's office, please raise your hand.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Brian. Thank you for being here tonight.
Okay, do you want me to turn my video on too? I don't see an option to do that.
If you can turn on your video, that would be great.
It's not an option for me. I mean, I want to. Oh, there we go. Okay, hi. Sorry about that. It wasn't an option at the moment. Well, good to see you all, and it was good to see a lot of you at the 26th and I Street Park renovation meeting at the West End Library 2 weeks ago. I know there's a lot of disappointment with the project so far, but we are hopeful that the new park and plaza upgrades will still benefit the neighborhood and will be completed quickly so that it can be enjoyed as soon as this summer. I think they said a June completion, hopefully. I also know that a lot of federal employees have lost their jobs recently or are worried that they may lose their jobs. So if you or any of your constituents or anyone that's on the call knows anyone who needs help, please have them reach out to our office and we'll try to connect them with any resources, supports, or services that may be available. On the legislative front, Councilmember Pinto recently introduced the Heads Up Distraction-Free Learning Amendment Act, which requires all elementary, middle, and high schools to implement policies that prohibit students from using wireless communication devices like cell phones or gaming devices or smartwatches during the school day. We believe that removing these devices will better equip students to focus, will empower teachers to teach and not have to police kids all day, and it will help ensure that our kids are engaging with one another while they're in person, which we know will benefit them for years to come. Last year, only 34% of DC students met or exceeded expectations in English, language, arts, and literacy, and only 22% of students met or exceeded expectations in math. So we know we have a lot of room for improvement. Councilmember Pinto also co-introduced the Recycling, Refund, and Litter Reduction Amendment Act of 2025, also known as a bottle bill. This establishes a beverage container deposit program in DC where consumers would pay a 10-cent deposit on cans and bottles and then are refunded the deposit when they return the containers to be recycled, as you might have seen in other states. We know this can help clean up our rivers like the Potomac and the Anacostia, and so we're hopeful that this will help reduce litter in neighborhoods as well. Councilmember Pinto has been or will be reintroducing a number of bills from last session, like bills dealing with municipal bonds, community access to recreational spaces, and her lead-free water pipes bill. She already did reintroduce the hygiene and laundry pilot program and the vehicular noise bills, which I know ANC2A helped inspire. The council is, of course, now holding performance oversight hearings, as Chair Patel mentioned. The Judiciary and Public Safety Committee has 4 days of hearings left, including MPD's, which is now on March 11th. One of the recent hearings that they held was with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, or CJCC, and the Department of Forensic Sciences. We're very proud that as a result of Councilmember Pinto's Secure DC bill, the CJCC has now published a new website with monthly and quarterly crime stat reports. This is a new central location for vital crime and juvenile justice data. I'm going to post a link in the Q&A where you can visit that website. We also received the good news that the Department of Forensic Sciences fingerprinting lab has been reaccredited. So still a little bit more work to do at the Department of Forensic Sciences, but we're making progress that will hopefully help us close a lot of cases more quickly. I want to thank the ANC2 commissioners, 2A commissioners and residents who have been testifying at the oversight hearings. Last week, Councilmember Pinto asked the DDOT director questions at their oversight hearing, including questions about improving safety around our traffic circles, which we know can often be very dangerous. Councilmember Pinto will also be attending DPW's upcoming oversight hearing to ask their director questions about recent winter storm responses, trash collection issues, parking enforcement, and leaf collection. We will, of course, keep Snow's Court and Hughes Mews top of mind. We're still seeing a lot of leaves, yard waste, bags with leaves in them, and holiday trees at the curbs. So we ask that ANCs or residents submit 301 requests at this point. But I do believe that for leaves, you are all in leaf zones 2C, and I'll post the link to the leaf tracker as well, and that shows that most of Foggy Bottom has not had the final leaf collection yet, but should be very soon. It looks like they're on New Hampshire Avenue, just around the south of DuPont Circle at this point, but they're supposed to be moving through there this week, and hopefully there's no big storm tonight. As we move into budget season, Councilmember Pinto's top two priorities will continue to be improving public safety and revitalizing downtown with economic prosperity for downtown. The two services on 311 that I'm seeing the fastest responses for right now are for potholes and graffiti removal. For most pothole requests, they're being filled in less than 72 hours. So I know there are a lot of potholes right now because of the recent snow plowing. So do ask that if you have one, you either send it to us or submit it via 311, and hopefully we can get it filled right away so no one has any physical or material damage. Finally, Councilmember Pinto is going to be joining your March meeting, so you can send me any questions ahead of time, or you can feel free to just ask them live that night. And I think that is all for me.
Thank you, Brian. I have questions for you, but before I go, because I have a lot, did I have any questions or comments from colleagues before I go into my barrage of questions? All right, Brian, I guess you're gonna have to deal with all the questions from me. For the hygiene bill that's been reintroduced, has that been given a hearing date as of yet to testify in or not yet?
I don't think so, and in fact, I don't even think it's in the tracker yet. The on limbs, I checked limbs earlier, and our legislative staff was going to see why it hasn't been added yet. But no, I don't believe so. But we'll definitely send it to your commission once we have a date.
Yes, that would be great. Obviously, the hygiene bill was something that I know Commissioner Omicton, former Commissioner Omicton, cared deeply about, and would want us to reweigh in on. So we want to definitely, as a commission, want to reweigh in on that. And can't speak for the rest of my colleagues, but I would, if possible, I would definitely testify in that. And then just want to say thank you for making sure that FEMS showed up today. And thank you for calling me back that night. Not fun when you're probably like, why is Commissioner Patel calling me at 11:30 at night? That was the reason why. And so, so there's been a lot of questions from residents. The management is even been downplaying the seriousness of it. And I did speak to, Director McGaffin did send me an email today and said that from the time that the 911 call got through to the time that they were able to dispatch it was 9 minutes on their end. And so there was no issue once, FEMS came on site, everything was handled. I think what was very distressful for the residents is that from the time between the 911 being contacted and the alarm being pulled, it took 30 minutes, a totality of 30 minutes. And from what we've been told, FEMS on site said that there was an issue with the building's fire panel. So that was number one. Number two, they did their job. They shut down the elevators completely for the entire building as a precaution of safety. They went floor by floor, assessed any and all damage. Everybody was grateful, everybody was thankful. But the big issue that we are now running into as a building from residents very specifically is that they're being stonewalled. And there is this impression, which I have been very adamant in saying that that's not the case, that, why hasn't the city got involved? Because I think there's a lot of, they don't trust the management, but then they're like, why hasn't the city gotten involved? And I'm saying to people, I said like there are protocols that need to happen. It was made aware to me that Department of Buildings did come on site and inspected the elevators. So you know, but as far as like the management is going, they're even trying to deny that an incident happened at the building, which is distressful. I got a phone call from a resident before this meeting. He's moving out. Like he is beyond livid and angry. A lot of the residents have, they're like, I got 3 months left in this building. I'm not renewing my lease and they're leaving. And so I'm making a big deal of it because like there's some genuine safety concerns around this. So if I need to call for an official investigation, I will put a resolution out. Hopefully, my colleagues will be able to support that. Just around like just the 911 response time. I'll be testifying at Department of Buildings oversight hearing as well. So it's a lot, so like just trying to calm my residents down and just trying to get some answers. And like I've appreciated Director McGaffin, keeping a line of communication open, but we would like the assistance of your office, and just know like Councilwoman Pinto will be asked questions about that by my constituents when she appears next month.
Sure. Okay. And I'm so sorry again that this happened. I know Alexis and Chief White, they can probably help you guys to get an inspection by FEMS to come out with your alarm, because I know there were questions about whether or not triggering the alarm just alerts the fire department or not. Like in my building, it does not, and we tell residents that you have to call 911. So I guess there might be some discrepancies in that. So I want to make sure that the inspectors for FEMS can come out and make sure all the signage is clear and that people know this sort of thing. Because again, it's not intuitive. You do think if there's an alarm that it's already happening. The process is in motion, but it doesn't sound like that happened.
Okay, thank you so much. If members of the public have any questions or comments for Mr. Romanowski of the Councilwoman's office, please raise your hand and we will promote you.
There's no questions. I'll just add, Councilmember Pinto is looking forward to swearing in the new commissioners. So I know we're waiting on the official date that we're allowed to do that, but we're ready to go as soon as it's possible to give you guys your quorum back.
Thank you so much, Brian. Well, Brian, I think you are good to go. Will you be staffing the councilwoman for the next meeting? Oh, he's gone. Never mind. All right, moving along on our agenda. Is a report from the mayor's office. If you are from the mayor's office, please raise your hand and you will be promoted.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Perfect. Sorry, let's just having some technical difficulties here. Perfect. My name is Adriana and I'm the Ward 2 liaison. And I want to thank you all for joining today's meeting. I have 4 key updates, highlights coming up soon, so I would love to share that with you all. And I will be sharing the PowerPoint as well with additional resource. In addition to that, I will put my email and my phone number in the chat. If you have any requests, any assistance that you may need, please feel free to reach out. The first highlight that I will be mentioning is the Budget Engagement Forum. I made a couple of calls today, so I may have called you, or maybe I may have not. But we have 2 forums happening next week, one on Thursday and the other one on Saturday. The one on Thursday is happening at 5:30 and the one on Saturday is happening at 11:30 a.m. And so I will be sending the links for registration. It's basically for all the residents. It gives them an opportunity to share priorities, to share ideas, how funds should be allocated in the upcoming budget cycle. So this would be a really great opportunity for you to join. And I will be sending out those links after this meeting. The second announcement that I have is that on February 12th, the Mayor Bowser announced the rebalancing expectations for neighbors, tenants, and landlords, which is the Rental Act. It's a new legislation to protect the district's existing affordable housing and strengthen the local housing ecosystem to ensure DC is and continues to be a national leader for affordable housing. I have a link as well that I'll be sharing with you on that PowerPoint that kind of outlines the bullet points, the mission, the act itself. And please feel free to reach out if you have any other questions after that. The other announcement is the RFK. So as you probably may have heard, the district now has control of the RFK. So these are about 174 acres that now can be transformed into vibrant hubs of housing, world-class recreation facilities, green spaces, and economic opportunities. I believe we'll be having a meeting to kind of also get maybe residents' ideas on what to use the space for, if there's like additional thoughts. But once those dates and those links come out, I will be happy to share that. I know that's coming up, but so far there's not a time or a date set on that, but that's really big. And then one of the last things I wanted to share with you all is the hashtag Her Story 5K. There will be a 5K on March 8th. And it's basically to empower women. As you know, it's Women's Month, and I will be sharing the registration link. If you are able to join, you can either run, walk, or cheer, and we'd be happy to see you then. And I'll pass the mic back if anybody has any other questions that I may have not spoken about.
Thank you, Adriana. Questions or comments from colleagues? Adriana, I have one question, and it's about the RFK Stadium. Is the mayor going to be doing town halls all around the district? I know she had one town hall for the Ward 7 residents, but I wasn't sure she was going to have any further engagement around that.
Yes, we are planning a couple more engagements, and I think this is where that comes in, that session where we'll have like sessions where people can maybe kind of speak out about ideas as well. But TBD on date and time. As soon as I have those, I will be happy to share those with you. So I know that that's in the talks.
Okay. And then I did think of one more question, but this is one I'm sure my colleagues may be interested in, members of the public. Do we have an estimate of when Mayor Bowser is going to be dropping her budget?
That information we don't have just yet. She's still working on it. Yeah, no updates on that. I can ask again tomorrow, and I can let you know if there's a specific time. Just she'll do it by the time the legislation makes it sure that she does it. But we do have 2 forums coming up in the next week, so that would be a fantastic opportunity for you to join if you're available.
For those 2 public forums, are they Metro accessible? I was going to email you and ask you, but since you're here, I'll just ask you now.
Yeah, I believe so. One is in a little further in the Northeast, and then the other one is at the Kennedy Recreation Center. I think that would be the closest one. It's 1401 S 7th Street Northwest.
So Kennedy Center, which is, I believe, Ward 4.
Kennedy Recreation Center.
Okay.
And I sent you an email, but I can send it to you again.
All right. Nope, those were my questions. If members of the public have any questions or comments for our mayor's representative, please raise your hand and we will promote you. Well, Adriana, it seems that you are off the hook. Nobody from the public wanted to have had anything to ask you today.
Sounds good. I will drop my contact information and the PowerPoint, and you guys can follow up with questions as well from there.
All right, thank you so much. And then next item up on our agenda is commissioner updates. We'll go down in numerical order. Commissioner Yang.
No updates.
Okay. The updates on my end have kind of been outed. Councilwoman Pinto will be appearing at our March ANC2A meeting. So that's one big announcement. The only other thing I was going to update everybody on is that it is performance oversight hearings. This is the time where you tell agencies if they're doing a good job or a bad job. And I will be testifying at the DGS performance oversight hearing as well as the DHS oversight hearing around the Aston. And other than just being in hearing heaven, that is all I have on my end. Commissioner Comer, floor is yours.
Yes, the 26th at I Street Park. We did have a meeting about it 2 weeks ago. Construction was supposed to have started this week. I have not gotten by there because of the cold, but I believe it should be starting soon. We did get some commitments from DDOT at the meeting 2 weeks ago that they will work with us to plant the area to the north and northwest of the park to with trees and foliage to try to protect it more from K Street and the freeway. And that's really the big event of the season. Thanks.
And then last but not least, Commissioner Malek.
Thank you. A couple of quick updates. So a couple of weeks ago, myself, Commissioner Patel, met with GW President Ellen Granberg and members of the government affairs team at GW for a general meeting to talk about the relationship between the ANC and the university. I raised my desire for the university to provide more community access and a broader set of community benefits to the public, to the members of the community, and that was well received. So we haven't had specific talks about what that might look like yet. But if you, as community members, have any ideas for what you would like to see from the university in terms of more benefits, better engagement, please feel free to let me know as we move into those conversations. I've received a number of emails and phone calls from constituents regarding the abandoned tents on Washington Circle and also at 22nd and K Street. This is always a delicate issue because before you clear an encampment, you really need to make sure that no one is still living there and that no one's vital documents or critical possessions are still on site there. With that said, there's a couple of sites at least that are very obviously abandoned, and clearing of those sites has been scheduled for the end of February. ANC does not handle that or have anything to do with that, but I just wanted to let everyone know that that is on the schedule. Last thing, not ANC2A related specifically, but I just wanted to inform my colleagues about this and our government partners and members of the public. As you have probably heard, E Street Cinemas has announced that it's planning to close effective, I believe the date is March 6th. There's a lot going on in our world, in our city right now, and it may be easy to overlook a movie theater closing, but arts and culture are important. They make life better. They make our city better. E Street Cinemas has been here for over 20 years. It is one of the only theaters in the district that routinely shows independent, foreign, small budget films, and its closing is going to be a catastrophic loss for the arts community of DC and the surrounding area. So I don't know if there are any opportunities to save it, but I have started reaching out to potential partners on this, potential stakeholders who might be interested in looking at ways that we could not prevent Landmark, the owner and operator, from leaving, but perhaps there would be a way to salvage that space, keep it as a theater, I don't know exactly what that would look like. I don't know if there's support for that, but these are conversations that I am trying to start. So if anyone out there has any ideas that might be helpful in those conversations, or if you know any parties or organizations that could potentially be interested in partnering in some effort to keep that space, the important third space that it has been for so long in this community, please feel free to reach out and let me know. You can always email me about that or anything else at 2a08@anc.dc.gov, or you can call or text me at 202-251-3284. Thank you.
Commissioner Malek, thanks for that update. I'm really sad, as you can see on my face, and shocked. Just wanted to share this idea as I thought of it when you were talking. Have you reached out to the Arts and Humanities Commission? It's sanctioned by the DC Council, and I know they tend to do grants, but this may be a project they may be willing to undertake, or kind of be able to amplify that this is closing, and perhaps figure out a way to save it. It's just a thought, food for money.
I have not reached out to them yet, but it's a very good suggestion and exactly the kind of suggestion that I'm looking for. Just to sort of tell everyone what my thoughts are on this. I think it would be great if we could save this space, if perhaps the city could run it as a municipal theater. It would give us the opportunity to not only continue the types of programming that it's traditionally been known for, but potentially expand that programming to a type of content that wouldn't be possible in a strictly commercial space, such as student films, films from local producers and local filmmakers, experimental films. It could really become a cultural hub of the city if the opportunity was seized. So, I'm having these conversations. I don't know if anything will come of it, but it's certainly important to folks here in 2A, because as you remember, we used to have the West End Cinemas, which was also owned by Landmark and also one of the havens for this type of important film that enriches our lives so much. And that closed, during the pandemic or shortly after the pandemic. It's been closed for 3 or 4 years now, I believe. And that was a huge loss to the West End. And all those patrons that used to go to West End Cinema migrated to E Street, and now that's going to be closed as well. So if there's anything we can do, I think it's worth having those conversations.
Well, keep us posted, Commissioner Malek. I There could be an appetite, or should you so feel compelled when we have quorum, want to put out an official resolution tasking the DC Council to save East Street Cinema. I think that's something that I think you can find a few commissioners of support on. So definitely happy to attach myself to that.
Thank you.
And of course, and apologies, I know we're supposed to move on to the next item. I wanted to let you and Commissioner Yang know about this. Councilwoman Janice Lewis George, who has purview over DPR, on the committee website, if you go look, it is still on their list to do a transfer of jurisdiction. I believe the tennis courts are referred to as Francis courts. I'm not sure if that's correct. I just wanted to flag that for both of you. I know she had her perform. I know she spoke to Director Thenie Thomas of DPR. And so I didn't watch the performance oversight when she had to respond to those questions. But I did want to share that when Councilwoman Lewis George heard the plight of 26th and I Street Park during the testimony, she literally just dead stopped. And she's like, this would be really funny if this wasn't so infuriating. She was so shocked at just the way the entire park has been handled from start to finish. And she has committed to getting some answers on our behalf, which I think is really, really important. But she made it very clear that I made it very clear to her that I was not very thrilled when the response from a DPR representative to you was trust the government, just trust us. And I think the look on her face said it all during that hearing, and she she reiterated that that is not how our government partners should speak to the community, should engage with the commission. So I did want to put that out there because I had so much to tell you, I forgot about that. But Commissioner Comer reminded me about the 26th and I Street Park stuff. So seeing no further updates from the commission, I will turn over to the last and final topic under community forum, which is public announcements and public comments. So if you are a member of the public and you have an announcement or a comment, please raise your hand and you will be promoted. You can go ahead, Chris, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thanks. I put the question in there, but the Kennedy Center is under attack from this current administration, and I was just wondering if maybe we could approach people there to help us, I don't know, do something with the East Street Cinema or something. The Kennedy Center is such an integral part of our neighborhood here. And I don't know. That just popped into my head is these things. What Jim said about how important the arts are to our lives. And we're losing the cinema, but we're also losing not losing the Kennedy Center, but it's under attack, and it's looking like it's not going to be the Kennedy Center that it was intended to be, the National Arts Center. So that's all. I don't know. I just it was just an idea that I have, and maybe need to hash it out a little bit more, but I think that we should really do something with the Kennedy Center. Refugees.
Thank you for that, Chris. And let's put our heads together and see what we can come up with. And obviously, the Kennedy Center, I believe it's in Commissioner Comer's district.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Commissioner Comer, if you have any thoughts about that, please obviously weigh in, email us, call us, or whatever.
Well, all I can say is, unfortunately, we don't carry great weight with the national government. But yes, we'll monitor what's going on there.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. If you're a member of the public, you have an announcement or a question, comment, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and promote you. All right, seeing no further comments or announcements, we'll go into our final topic, which is an update about the high occupancy vehicle lane on I-395. And if you are here for that topic, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and promote you. Hello, Kendry. Hello, Lindsay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kendry with DDOT. I'm the PM. I'm sorry, I'm first time on trying to get my video. There we go. I am the COTAR and project manager of the job. First of all, apologies. I know last time there was some miscommunication and we were not in your ANC meeting to present. We also right at the border between 2A and 6A. So it's being a little bit different dealing with two different ANCs, but we'll present here what we got. I don't think there's a lot of impacts to the community itself since we are mainly on the East Potomac Park. It's mainly for traffic purposes, but I'm gonna show you guys where we are, what we are doing. If Lindsay is, I don't know if he can, can we do this and share the presentation? We had a PowerPoint presentation, and Lindsay, I don't know, you have it
It
available?
says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
I don't know how we can.
Our executive director should enable it. Executive Director Shellis, can you go ahead and enable screen sharing for them, please?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you very much. Well, like I'm saying, my name is Kenny Contreras. I represent DDOT, Team 1, and this is our presentation for our I-395 HOV project. HOV occupancy is an 18-month job that started on December 9th. We got NTP. We already mobilized. We are currently at the parking lot A. You want to, Lindsay, to move ahead. I'm just gonna give you guys an overall project overview and goals, and then I'll do more technical detail to my construction manager, Lindsay, with his on site. He's give you a lot of, and then between he and I can answer any other questions that we have. So DDOT has completed the rehabilitation of the design of the job of this bridge. This is an HOB bridge right adjacent to 14th Street, southbound and northbound. It's all the HOB lanes. We are working in conjunction with Transurban and the Virginia side for MOT purposes. These are 2 lanes on each side, on each way. We are not impacting the lanes itself. We are always leaving them open. All we're doing is traffic switches. We completed all the first phase of the traffic switch about 3 weeks ago. Right now, you drive on 395 and cross into Virginia or vice versa and use the HOV lanes, you will be pushed to the inside of the bridge. And that is allowing us to put barriers all the way along, and then we're going to start doing deck rehabilitation. We also have extensive work to do under the bridge. The bridge is in some needs of repairs or major repairs. So this is more rehabilitation where there's a lot of cracking. There's a lot of deficiencies on the exposed rebar that we need to go in and pretty much repair. We also replacing the fender system that is on the channel and the Potomac with a new system. We are pretty much replacing all the wood, all the exterior wood, and replacing it with FRPL. And we also gonna be cleaning all the stone cladding that's on the piers and pretty much giving it a cosmetic cleanup. A new paint job on some of the structures that are rusted out. The handrail. We're also gonna repair and then gonna replace all the street lights. This project is scheduled to last 18 months. So we are looking at impacts until summer of 2026. And for the most part, like I'm saying, the impacts to the community will be mainly at the level of traffic impacts. It's very limited because all the traffic impacts are going to be at night work. We have an agreement with Transurban to minimize the amount of revenue loss from their side. And then we might have some weekend work that we'll be coordinating with National Park Service as well. As far as other impacts in the area, there might be some small impacts on Ohio Drive itself, right there in the East Potomac Park. Our trailer office is right in the parking lot. I'm personally over there, so anytime any one of you guys want to visit us, we're more than welcome to have you in our job. And like I'm saying, the main idea is to trying to minimize the impacts to the traveling public as much as we can. So for that being said, Lindsay, my construction manager, will give you just kind of a really quick update on the technicals aspects of the job, of the different phases. And then after that, we can just open it for questions if you guys have anything else. So I leave Lindsay to complete the presentation.
Thank you, Kendry. So the project duration will be 545 calendar days. Construction began December 9th, 2024, and is anticipated to go through summer 2026. There are 3 phases of construction on the bridge deck with traffic switches in each phase. So phase 3 is currently installed. Phase 2 will switch traffic approximately summer 2025, and phase 1 is anticipated to begin around winter 2025. But note these times can change based on construction and actual activities. Project will involve repairs to the substructure under the bridge, including concrete patching, bearing replacement, repairs to existing dolphin structure, milling, and overlay of the bridge deck. The concrete on the bridge will be completed in 3 phases. During all phases, 2 lanes of traffic will be open in each direction during daytime hours, and the speed limit will be reduced to 35 miles an hour. 1 phase will shift traffic to the right while construction is completed in the left. The second phase will split traffic before it enters the bridge so the construction can take place in the center lanes of the bridge. And then the final phase will shift traffic over to the right so that the construction can take place on the other side. The lane closures will take place at night. Single lane closures will take place from 9:30 p.m. to 4 a.m. On weekdays and 11 p.m. to 9 a.m. on weekends. During the bearing replacement and other times where traffic has to be completely stopped, there'll be closures for up to 30 minutes, and those closures will only take place between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. During construction, 2 lanes will be open in each direction. Message boards will be set up at least 2 weeks prior to each traffic switch and remain in place about 2 weeks after each switch. The contractor will have an emergency plan in place if there's a disabled vehicle within the work zone to quickly remove those vehicles. There's a storage laydown yard under the existing bridge on both abutments along Ohio Drive. The lanes will be shifted, or the walkway will be shifted out, but the walkway under the bridge will remain open at all times. And on the Virginia side, the Mount Vernon Trail will remain open on both sides or at all times so that there's safe pedestrian access and ADA compliance maintained during construction. This is our community outreach page, and Nora Moss, who's also on, is our community outreach contact. And I can always be contacted as well, and I'll be the construction manager on the project. And this is a link to our website.
Correct. So we have a website. Our DDO website has the latest information. It's pretty much also this presentation is over there for the public if you guys want to download it and look at it. And then I don't know. I opened this trying to make it short. So I know it's almost 9 o'clock. So if you guys have anything questions or anything that you need, more than welcome to answer.
Are there any questions or comments from colleagues about this project? Seeing no questions or comments from colleagues on this project, I'll go ahead and turn it over to members of the public. If you're a member of the public and you have a question or a comment about this project, please raise your hand and we will promote you to a panelist. All right, this will be the last call. If you are a member of the public and you have a question or a comment, please use the raise your hand function or *9 if you're on the phone. Well, it seems that Kendry and Lindsay, you're off the hook. No one wanted to ask you any questions. Your presentation was great. Thank you. And thank you for keeping it short and being mindful of the time. I will go ahead and release you to enjoy the rest of your night. I believe you sent this presentation to our executive director as well, correct? Okay, so we already have it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, we share it. Like I'm saying, we also if you go to our DDO website, that QR code or any DDO website, I keep updates on the website for everybody. So any kind of notification, traffic advisories, or anything like that related to the job, it will be posted as well.
Okay, Kendry and Lindsay, I spoke too soon. Someone has raised their hand. They do
Oh,
have a question or comment for you.
right,
So
sure.
our executive director will promote them. I was like, okay, they got off easy, and I see a hand raised. So you will have to unmute yourself. I believe the unmute for, oh, there you go.
Yes, I'm sorry. Hi, team. I was just going to say what Kendry said. My name is Enora Moss, Community Engagement. For the project, we have the website that's in the Q&A portion, and my email is there as well, and we have sent you the presentation. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you, Honora. All right. Well, it was just one of your colleagues saying she wanted to come check in. All right. So yes, you are actually off the hook. So thank you so much for your presentation and your time tonight.
Thank you.
And seeing that there is no further business to be conducted, the time is 8:42 and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for attending and thank you, colleagues.
Quick correction for the record before we end the recording. There was no business conducted at this meeting because this was a community meeting. So just wanted to clarify that for the record.
Thank you very much. And I didn't even realize I was off screen. I'm so sorry. I was talking like I was still on screen. I forgot to unmute myself. Well, take myself off the black screen. So yes, you're right. There was no official business conducted. It's just lingo, habit. Thank you for catching me on that, Commissioner Malek. But we will return on March 19th, I believe is the date. Yes, Wednesday, March 19th at 7 p.m. It will be a virtual meeting only, and we look forward to seeing you back in 30 days and looking forward to calling Commissioner-elects DeCapo and Youngstown commissioners at that point.
Indeed. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night, guys.